The second I stepped off the train into the city of Vaudeville, I could feel the weight of its melancholy in the air. Even the drizzle that clung to the city's grimy cobblestones felt a shade darker than your everyday downpour. Vaudeville was a city of high stakes and low morals where vice and virtue danced a wicked waltz. Street lamps flickering like burnt-out stars were the only guide through the maze of rain-soaked alleyways and whispering shadows. My name's Martini, detective, troubleshooter, and a lousy sucker for hard luck stories. This wasn't my first circus, but this act was a three-ring special. 3 murders, no leads, and a city on the brink of bedlam. The victims were as different as chalk and cheese, each a symbol of the city's vibrant veneer. A young dancer who moved like poetry in motion, her life cut short mid-pirouette. The socialite, a woman who knew the city's pulse better than anyone else. And then there was the businessman, the embodiment of vaudeville's promises of progress, snuffed out like a candle in the wind. The usual peace in vaudeville was off-kilter, replaced by the discordant notes of fear and suspicion. Strangers viewed each other through wary eyes, neighbors turned to strangers, and every shadow seemed to hold a secret. The once vibrant city had become a stage, the curtain drawn on a grim play of mystery and murder. In a city without harmony, the police chief was the conductor trying to keep the orchestra in tune. Gretzky was his name, a seasoned cop with a granite jaw and a heart that had seen better days. There was a stark tension, a raw fear that danced like St. Elmo's fire in his eyes. Whatever was happening in vaudeville had Gretzky out of his depth, and that was a sight I'd never thought I'd see. If anyone could make sense of this twisted tale, it would be him. I'd better head to the police station and have a chat with Gretzky for starters.
All right, welcome, silencers, to Vaudeville. That's right, this is an AI-driven detective game released a couple of years ago, so I reached out to the devs and I said, hey, I'm kind of into this AI stuff. And they liked it so much, they sponsored this video, so thank you very much to BBS Games for sponsoring this video. And, yeah, without any further ado, let's figure things out. So, as far as I understand, that's right. We can speak into the microphone.
Microphones, huh? Can't say I'm a fan of all this newfangled technology. Back in my day, we didn't need fancy gadgets to get the job done. But fine, if it helps you hear me better, I'll play along. Just don't expect any miracles, alright? Now, what's your question?
So what's the story, Chief?
The source of the story, well, let me tell you, Detective, the source of this whole mess is a sick and twisted mind. As for the murderer, I can't give you a name just yet, but let me tell you something. This ain't your typical run-of-the-mill case. I've seen my fair share of murders in this city, but something tells me there's more than one person involved in these killings. Call it intuition or call it experience, but mark my words, we're dealing with a tangled web here.
What gives you that impression, Chief?
Oh, you want to know why I think there's more to this than meets the eye? Let me paint a picture for you, Detective. 3 different victims, 3 different locations, all killed within 2 days. Now, you might say it's a coincidence, but let me tell you something. I don't believe in coincidences. There's a pattern here, a pattern that points to someone with a diabolical plan, and I intend to unravel it piece by piece.
All right, so I can honestly say the AI-generated voice is a little off-putting. And the fact that he keeps saying, but let me tell you something, I get the feeling that he may have been written or the AI is instructed to respond that way. I also don't like that it didn't... I'm sure it was in the disclaimer at the beginning that I was recording my voice, but it wasn't very clear that that would be on by default. That being said, tell me about the first victim.
Yeah, Maria Jansen, our first victim. A young socialite, just starting to make her mark in the city. Found dead outside her apartment, covered in blood.
What appeared to be the cause of death?
Cause of death, huh? Well, Detective, I don't have all the details right here in front of me. But I can tell you this, I've got some reports from our trusty coroner, Extiberia. If you want to know more about how poor Maria met her end, you'll have to pay a visit to Extiberia at the morgue. It's not exactly a cheerful place, but hey, it's part of the job. Let me mark it on your map so you don't get lost.
Much appreciated. Tell me about the next victim, too.
Yeah, Nicola Grossman, a man of finance and secrets. His body was found outside Pascal's grocery shop in the morning. Quite a peculiar location, wouldn't you say? It's as if someone wanted to send a message. But what that message is, I can't quite decipher just yet. Maybe you'll have better luck, Detective. Just be careful around those crates of apples. They can be quite slippery.
I thank you for the words of warning, Chief. However, you did mention that there were 3 victims. Who's the last one?
Oh, right. How could I forget? Our last victim, Haley Greenwood, a young dancer with dreams of stardom. Her life was cut short in an alley behind the Cabine Violet, where she used to work her magic on stage. It's a shame, really. She had such potential. But now, all we're left with is another tragic loss. Makes you wonder what kind of world we're living in, doesn't it?
Not really. The world is a sick and twisted place. Are they all at the morgue now, or is there any other locations I should be searching?
Well, Detective, it seems you're eager to get your hands on some juicy details. Lucky for you, I've just received word that Extiberia, our esteemed coroner, has completed the autopsies. You can find Extiberia at the morgue, and trust me, it's not a place for those with weak stomachs. But hey, I'll mark it on your map so you don't get lost in those dark corridors. Just remember, Detective Martini, you're authorized to see those autopsy reports.
All right, I'm going to skip the pleasantries. I don't know if there's anything about that, but I'm just going to skip out rather than... Yeah, thank you for your help, Chief. Just so you guys know. Coroner, tell me the names of the 3 victims, please.
Maria Jansen, Nicola Grossman, and Haley Greenwood were the 3 unfortunate souls who met their untimely demise in Vaudeville. Maria Jansen suffered from extensive bite marks and a fractured forearm bone. Nicola Grossman was stabbed in the back of the neck with a butcher's knife.
And what about Haley Greenwood?
Haley Greenwood, a 19-year-old dancer, was the 3rd victim.
All right. Not sure I'm sold on the whole AI thing, but I'm enjoying the voice interaction, the ability to speak and have it like respond to me, even though it's kind of grating and very robotic still. I like the direction this could go in. For the record, I absolutely hate detective stuff, gumshoe stuff. Like, you know, femme fatale. She walked into my office like a tall glass of water, looking like a tall glass of water. It doesn't do anything for me. I absolutely hate cop dramas and whatnot, but I saw this game. I saw that it had its hands in AI, and that's why we're going through this, guys. So bear with me, and I do hope you enjoy. But let me know in the comments below, aside from how AI is interacting here, tell me your thoughts on it. Tell me if you like the idea of it, if you don't like the idea of it, if you're worried about Terminators rising up, or if you're just worried that your car's going to get snippy with you if you don't say, please turn on. Let me know in the comments below, or join my Discord so we can have an even lengthier discussion. What was the cause of death for Haley Greenwood?
Well, actually, I'm not sure I understood. What was that again?
How did Haley die?
Oops, sorry. What was I saying?
You were telling me the cause of death of our 3 victims.
Yes, my apologies for the confusion.
So tell me who our 3 victims are again.
Yes, of course. The 2nd victim was Nicola Grossman, a man known in the finance world. His body was found in the morning outside Pascal's grocery shop. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact position on the map, but it was in close proximity to the shop. His cause of death was a stab to the back of the neck with a butcher's knife.
Were we able to recover the knife, or is it just assumed based on the damage to his neck?
No, my apologies for the oversight. The third victim, Haley Greenwood, was indeed a dancer. Her life was tragically cut short, and her body was discovered in an alley behind the Cabane Violet, the club where she worked.
What was her cause of death?
Unfortunately, Miss Jansen suffered from extensive bite marks all over her body, including her arms.
What killed Haley?
Wait, I think I lost my train of thought. What did you say?
I want to see Miss Jansen's full report.
Oh dear, it seems there has been a misunderstanding. The second victim, Nicola Grossman, was the one who suffered a stab to the back of the neck with a butcher's knife.
All right. Now I'm getting irritated, just because it's, I don't know, it might not be understanding my Hatson, my pronunciation, or my accent, Haraben, but now it's irritating me. Can you mark the location of the supermarket, or at least the close location of the supermarket where Nicola Grossman was found?
Oh, Pascal's grocery shop, the place where poor Mr. Grossman met his untimely end. It's located in the central part of Vaudeville, not far from the bustling streets. I'm afraid I don't have the exact coordinates, but it shouldn't be too difficult to find. Just look for the shop with the sign displaying Pascal's name. It's a tragic incident indeed, a stabbing to the back of the neck with a butcher's knife. The brutality of it all. It's difficult to comprehend.
Yes, you seem very worked up. I bet she's the killer. What about our socialite?
Our dear Maria Jansen, the young socialite who suffered such a gruesome fate. Her body was found outside her apartment in the heart of Vaudeville, right beside the popular bar Coral. The details of her demise are truly unsettling. It appears she was attacked by an animal with deep lacerations and extensive tissue damage. The scene was quite distressing, to say the least. Such a tragedy for someone so young and vibrant.
What kind of teeth made the incisions? Canine? Feline?
Yeah, the teeth that left those incisions on Miss Jansen's body. It's difficult to determine the exact species without further investigation. However, based on the size and pattern of the bite marks, it is possible that they were made by a large carnivorous mammal. The force required to fracture a forearm bone suggests a significant level of strength. Truly a horrifying ordeal for her. Well, yes, it is certainly plausible that the markings resemble the shape of a canine's canines. It's fascinating how the human anatomy can bear witness to such primal forces. The sheer power and precision of an animal's bite can leave lasting impressions, both physically and emotionally. It reminds us of the delicate balance between life and death, doesn't it?
I want you to look at me with your cold, dead eyes and tell me you didn't do it, because that is just typical of a forensic scientist to say. She's like, oh yes, the sheer power and precision of an animal's bite can leave a lasting impression. God damn. Have there been any reports of missing animals from local zoos, shelters, or any other sightings?
My dear detective, I understand your curiosity, but I'm afraid I don't possess any information regarding missing animals from local zoos or shelters. My focus is primarily on the examination of the deceased and determining the cause of their demise. However, I can imagine the concern that arises when considering the possibility of wild animals roaming the city. It's a reminder of the unpredictability and untamed nature of the world around us. But fear not, for we shall uncover the truth behind these tragic events, one piece of evidence at a time.
Where was our young socialite found again, and can you mark it on my map?
Yeah, my apologies, but I'm not familiar with the specific location of Maria Jansen's apartment. However, I can tell you that it was found outside her apartment in central Vaudeville, right beside the popular bar Coral. As for marking it on your map, I'll take a ring check, as I don't have access to your map. Perhaps we can arrange a visit to the location together. Or if you provide me with the coordinates, I can make sure to mark it for our next conversation.
How tall were all three of our victims?
Yeah, the height of the victims, you ask. Well, let me think for a moment. Each individual has their own unique stature, reflecting the diversity of humanity. Miss Greenwood, the young
this is
dancer, stood
irritating.
approximately 5 feet and 5 inches tall. Mr. Grossman, the finance world figure, measured around 6 feet and 1 inch. In Miss Jansen, the unfortunate socialite, was approximately 5 feet and 7 inches in height. It's fascinating to consider the intricate details of the human form, isn't it? Each measurement, each proportion, telling a story of their own.
As for the wound on Mr. Grossman's neck, does it indicate someone taller or someone shorter dealing the finishing blow?
Now, that's an interesting question, isn't it? The wound on Mr. Grossman's neck, caused by that vicious butcher's knife, doesn't necessarily provide clear evidence of the perpetrator's height. You see, the angle of the wound and the force applied can influence how it appears. It's a delicate balance, you see.
Who would I talk to if I wanted more information on the locations of these three victims?
Well, if you're seeking more information about the locations of the victims, I would suggest reaching out to the local police department. They would attest to the specific details that my records regarding crime scenes. As for Miss Jansen, the first victim, her body was discovered outside her apartment in central Vaudeville.
Alright, we're leaving. God damn. Chief, I need you to mark the locations where all three bodies were found. Oh. Chief, I need you to mark the locations of all three bodies where they were found on my map for me.
Look, I already told you where Maria Jansen and Nicola Grossman were found. Maria outside her apartment and Nicola outside Pascal's grocery shop. As for Haley Greenwood, she was found in an alley behind the Cabine Violet. But let me make something clear, I won't be marking any specific locations on your precious little map. I've got better things to do than play tour guide. Use that detective instinct of yours and figure it out. Now, if you'll excuse...
So am I just supposed to... I already did that. Where is Pascal's grocery shop located?
Yeah, Detective Martini, you're asking about the location of Pascal's groceries, eh? Well, let me tell you, it's a quaint little place, tucked away in the heart of downtown Vaudeville. You'll find it on Old Warehouse Street, number 100. Just follow the scent of freshly baked bread and the sound of clinking coins, and you'll be there in no time. But be warned, Detective, once you step inside, you might find yourself tempted by the assortment of delectable treats.
Where was the socialite's apartment again?
No, the socialite's apartment, you say. Now, why would you want to know about that, Trying to
I'd
get
like
a glimpse
to
into the
examine
glamorous
it.
lives of the elite, are we? I'll humor you this one time, but don't expect me to start giving out addresses like a tour guide. Maria Jansen's apartment was located in central Vaudeville, but that's all you're getting from me. Now, let's focus on catching the culprit, shall we?
You mentioned that there was a nightclub that the third victim worked at.
Yes, Detective Martini, the Cabine Violet.
Where is the Cabine Violet?
The Cabine Violet, you say? Well, I must admit, I'm not quite familiar with that particular establishment. You see, Detective, I'm a man of a certain age, and these modern-day clubs and their wild shenanigans are not my cup of tea. But fear not, my young friend, if you're looking for information on such places. I suggest you seek out Constable Jones. He's a sprightly lad with a taste for the immoral and the adventurous.
Where can I find Constable Jones?
My dear detective, you're in luck. We are currently standing in none other than the Vaudeville police station. And who do you think you'll find here? None other than our very own constable, Mick Jones. He's probably lurking around somewhere, sipping his never-ending supply of coffee and grumbling about paperwork. Just follow your nose, detective, and you'll surely stumble upon him. But be warned, he's a bit of a character. Don't let his youthful energy fool you. He's got a mischievous streak.
I totally didn't realize I could look around. I thought I was stuck in the one view. Constable.
Well, I don't know. They say love is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. But, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. I'll be here, like a loyal dog, ready to lend a paw. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Where is the cabaret located?
The cabaret, you see, it's, located in the Lights District, right in the center of Vaudeville. It's on Lumiere Street, number, 77, but, I must warn you, it's a place of intrigue and mystery. You might find all sorts of characters there, like a scene from a novel. Just be careful, Detective Martini, for danger lurks in the shadows of a cabaret.
Can you mark it on my map?
I don't have a map, but, I could try to describe it to you. The Coral. It's, a bar in central Vaudeville, you know. It's on, Lumiere Street, number 42. It's not too far from the city center. You'll recognize it by the, colorful lights and the lively atmosphere.
All right, I appreciate what they're trying to do to make the robot sound more human, but Jesus. I don't know how much more of this I can take, but let's see about the grocery store or some shit. The depth of field is definitely interesting. Okay, so we have Pascal and Miss Potter. Mr. Pascal, is it true that a businessman was killed nearby here recently?
Oh, you mean Nicola Grossman? Yeah, poor fella. Found his body right outside my shop. Can you believe it? So tragic. But hey, did you hear the latest rumor about Mrs. Caldwell and her secret admirer?
I don't really care about that information. What time did you find Mr. Grossman?
Found him early in the morning, before the sun was even up. But let me tell you, everyone's talking about it. Some say it was a robbery gone wrong. Others think it was a personal vendetta. What do you think?
I don't have enough information on that. How did you know Mr. Grossman?
Mr. Grossman. He was a regular customer here at Vaudeville, always buying the finest vegetables. But you know what they're saying? They think he was involved in some shady business deals. Scandalous, isn't it?
You seem to have an ear to the ground for a lot of things. That's useful in my line of work. Is there anybody he regularly chatted with or any locations he frequented?
Oh, there were rumors that he used to have late-night conversations with Mrs. Caldwell, the widow from down the street. In his locations, well, he was often seen at the jazz club, sipping on his favorite cocktail. But hey, did I tell you about the scandalous affair between Mr. Thompson and Miss Montgomery? Juicy stuff.
Where is the jazz club located?
The jazz club. It's just a few blocks away from here, near Monsieur Saxavar. You know, they say the music there can make you forget all your troubles. Speaking of which, have you heard about the mysterious disappearance of Lady Kensington's prize necklace? Scandalous, I tell you.
Okay, we're gonna... Oh, hold on. We're going to go back there. Miss Potter, I'm a detective and I'm looking into the recent murders. Do you know anything about them?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. but I'm afraid I don't know anything about the locations of the murders. Such dreadful events, aren't they? But let's not dwell on such unpleasant matters. Tell me, have you tried the new truffles at Pascal's? They are simply divine.
Okay, I can't take any more. This is a very interesting game. It is very interestingly executed. It's not entirely clear what can and can't be done, but it seems limited in its scope, which is understandable and fine. Not really my cup of tea. However, I will leave a link in the description for the Steam page, and you can check it out yourself, or you can let me know in the comments below that you'd like to see more. But I won't keep you any longer. Here's a video YouTube thinks you might like, and thank you very much for watching and liking. But I'll see you in the next one.